one small transformation leads to another. Every big transformation in life, whether it's building wealth, mastering a skill, or becoming independent, begins with one small transformation. You can't skip steps, you can't force a revolution. Real change always unfolds as a series of small connected transformations that compound over time. People often believe that wealth comes from one big moment, one startup idea, one viral product, one lucky investment. But that's not how reality works. Wealth is built like energy. It moves from one form to another and one transformation at a time. Let's take an example. You start by learning to sell, not because it makes you rich immediately, but because it transforms how you think about value. Once you understand value, you start noticing problems that can be solved. That's another transformation. When you solve a problem and people pay you for it, you learn leverage. That's the next one. When you learn leverage, you start thinking in systems, how to use code, how to use media or capital to multiply effort. That's another transformation. And eventually, all these small transformations connect. And what looks like a sudden success is actually the final visible layer of a long chain of invisible progress. You can't jump from zero to financial freedom in one move. You start by earning your first 10,000 rupees through effort. That small transformation gives you confidence. Then you make 1 lakh. Another transformation, this time in how you think about scale. Then 10 lakh. Another transformation, this time in how you think about systems. Then 1 crore. Another transformation, this time in how you think about freedom. Each level teaches you something that previous one couldn't. It's like physics, every motion triggers another. The first transformation creates the conditions for the next. The act of doing changes the doer. That's what doing something, even something small, is infinitely better than staying idle. Because the moment you act, you begin a chain reaction. In wealth creation, this chain might start as simply as learning to write, communicating better, attracting attention, building trust, selling, earning, reinvesting, scaling. One transformation after another, until one day you are living a completely different life. The problem is most people wait for the big transformation. They want the one idea that makes them rich. But that idea never comes because ideas are born from the small transformations that came before it. Every skill, every insight, every small success, these are not random events. They are links in the same chain. So don't chase the big moment. Chase the next small transformation because when you keep stacking them one over another, day after day, what looks small now eventually becomes unstoppable. So, David Deutsch once defined wealth as the repertoire of physical transformations an entity is capable of causing. In other words, wealth isn't money, it's your ability to change things in reality. Every time you cause a small transformation, you increase your repertoire. You become someone capable of creating more change. For example, once you learn to build something, even something small, you gain the ability to build more. Once you learn to sell once, you can sell again. Once you learn to write once, you can express ideas again and again. Each transformation expands your power to cause the next one. That's how a person becomes wealthy. Not financially first, but casually. They become capable of causing transformations that others can't.